Over the past few years, we've seen the rapid rise of digital assets across the financial landscape. More and more Americans, from everyday investors to institutional asset managers, are engaging with these technologies, and not just for speculation, but as a part of broader shift toward more accessible, decentralized financial tools. And it's not just individuals. Increasingly, United States businesses are integrating cryptocurrencies into their corporate strategies. This trend is unfolding across industries, but it's not without risk, as we know. Without clear accounting and tax guidance, these decisions introduce new layers of market exposure, not just for shareholders, but for the financial system as a whole. It has never been more evident we need clarity and parity within the tax code. The first question I have, Mr. Secretary, experts estimate that enacting a clear federal stablecoin framework could unlock up to $2 trillion in new demand for U.S. Treasuries, largely from institutional and global buyers seeking high-quality collateral. How do you view the potential benefits of stablecoin legislation in strengthening domestic demand for treasuries and supporting broader access to credit products such as mortgages that Americans rely on?
Congressman Miller, that is a fantastic question. And I have been in touch, a lot of discussions with your colleagues in the Senate from London over the weekend as they push through their stablecoin legislation, urging them to get it to a vote as quickly as possible, because I believe that U.S. dollar-backed stablecoins, as you said, collateralized with Treasury bills, could be a substantial portion, or create a substantial new buyer for U.S. Treasury bills. And I think equally as important, it can lock in dollar dominance. Over history, there's been a series of events that have kept the U.S. as a reserve currency, and I think passing this important stablecoin legislation could be that event for the 2020s.
I could not agree more with you. That's why I'm excited to see the push for it. Would you agree, Mr. Secretary, that pairing that type of stablecoin legislation with clear, modernized tax guidance for digital assets would offer the greatest chance of encouraging responsible investment, giving both individuals and institutions the confidence and certainty they would need?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I feel as well. I want to shift to our one big beautiful bill, Mr. Secretary. As we look toward the expiration of key provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, I'd appreciate your thoughts on how extending the expanded standard deduction would improve middle-class families and how Treasury is evaluating the trade-offs associated with that policy.
Well, we've seen the numbers, and the largest tax increase in history would add the great distress to working families due to the economic distress and to many of the provisions, as we just discussed, the child tax credit dropping from $2,000 to $1,000. And I don't even like to think about the havoc that it would wreak within the economy, especially within small businesses.
And, we hear a lot about, how this is only, a tax cut for a certain, demographic or socioeconomic class within our society. The average American, if this were to not go through, would receive the largest tax hike in our country's history. That goes from the person who has $0 in their checking account to the most wealthiest individual that we have in the world. I just want to make that abundantly clear. This piece of legislation, without its support in getting through, will give the American people the largest tax hike in government history, and that is what we are preventing with this legislation. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I yield back.
Good.